Bryan Freese, middle name Lewis. Not a lot of people know that. I'm a Libra. No, I'm just kidding, I'm good. Sponsored by Dis Republic, right here and right here. And they're a great retail store in Winnipeg, Manitoba, so check them out if you can. Winnipeg, Manitoba is where I started playing disc golf. I was born in BC. Started playing in 2013. My dad took me out to play disc golf one time. He actually called me and we were kind of hanging out like once every couple months, you know. So he's like, hey, you want to play disc golf? And I was like, I don't know what that is, that sounds dumb. He's like, well, it's low impact exercise, so, you know, it'd be good for me and time to, you know, hang out. And I said, oh, fine, whatever. So we went out with like these Spider-Man frisbees and I shot like plus 27 on like a 3,500 foot course, like the longest hole is 300 feet, like just terrible. But I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So then we started playing and then it was like, okay, I bought my own discs, 3-pack from Discraft, and two of them, the first discs I ever bought were in titanium Nuke S and a Star Boss, which is like, now it's like, you dummy. like I had no chance of throwing those back then. You're throwing it on a, like, you know, you run up the little crow hop back end and then you throw the hyzer and it's just like vertically out of your hand. You're like, this is crap, you know? Like, so I think I traded the titanium Nuke S for like a beat up Comet. Comet, you throw on a hyzer and I still had some power, you know, I could still throw. Flips up and, you know, like, whoa, that's what a disc does? And then you just fall in love, right? So. All right, let me get some more water here. Talk about some stuff. It was kind of crappy growing up. A lot of borrowing money, a lot of, can you pay for this? A lot of, you know, being embarrassed to take a bus with my hockey equipment, you know, like a transit bus and stuff. I played baseball and hockey growing up. I was good at both, like better at baseball. Baseball, I thought I could have went somewhere. My dad had a printing shop in Osborne until I was 6 or 7. That's when my parents got divorced. My mom's never worked. They both kind of have mental health issues, so they're not really that fit to do that kind of thing. They divorced when I was 7, and then that's when his shop kind of fell through. But my Auntie Donna has always like kind of been like my mom-ish, like that's her sister. And she offered for me to stay in Calgary and that I could go to U of C, like University of Calgary, and try and get on the Calgary Cannons AAA team, see what happens from there. So I moved up to Calgary, I graduated in Calgary. But when I got there, I was still a kid and not wanting to just go to baseball and stuff, so I kept skateboarding and didn't take school as serious as I wish I should have, but still graduated and stuff. But having someone that loved you and like could be there for you was good enough for me, so it worked out. I would say I was like not a jerk, but I definitely like did a lot of things to get laughs out of people and stuff. When you don't have money, you're trying to impress people other ways. So I'll do like a voice, like make them laugh, or I'll do something like, I don't know, something you shouldn't be doing. You can get in trouble with the law or something, like break something, I don't know. But disc golf, you get interested in disc golf and you're like, everybody here is such a genuine, nice person. And you're like, I don't want to be like that. Like, why would you ever be like that? And then that in turn with like actually growing up, it's like, oh, okay. And you look back on that, you're like, yeah, that wasn't me, you know? I started skateboarding when I was 13, and I usually pick things up pretty quickly. Within a year or whatever, I was kickflipping 6 stairs and stuff like that, like, you know, brag much, whatever. I pick it up quickly, so we got a crew, and all my friends are skaters, and we started filming, like, with a nice camera. So we had, like, the mini DV tapes and stuff like that. So we go to the store and we go to the street spots and we'd be filming with it with our fisheye lens and following along, doing like filming lines and stuff like that. and we put out our first video, and it was called Weekend Special. And we premiered it, and people came to see it, and it was awesome. And like, it was like, after that, you're like, okay, I want to film a better part next year. I want to film this, you know, because you have your part with your music, and people have seen skate videos, but for the most part, you have your 3-minute video with like your best tricks. You start out slow, there's some lines in there, and then you got they're called hammers, they would be, so like your best tricks, right at the end, boom, boom, boom. And then people clap, and like, it was like a high. You're like, wow, these people are cheering for me, you know? So that was a good feeling, for sure. And then after that, our crew is known as Weekend Special. So if you see me on the course, on my left leg, it says Weekend Special. So it's not like an ad for like a escort service or anything. It's like, it's my skateboarding old group. That was like some of my best memories. I started working at CNRail, and so I couldn't skate as much. I'd skate more on the weekends. I'd be kind of tired after work. So then I started skating like twice a week, 3 hours, and like little things that I would like do on command kind of thing. They started getting like harder, or I wouldn't do them, and then I'd hurt myself, like rolled my ankle, had to miss 3 weeks of work. Trying to do a trick, I tweaked my back, and it was like on like a little ledge. It wasn't like I'm jumping down stair sets or something, right? And I'm like, oh, I tweaked my back, 3 weeks off work. And it's like, now you got a mortgage, now you got this, and it's like, it's just like growing up a little bit. But you know, like all my friends still skateboard, so like I'm the only one who didn't. But I guess my body was just kind of like, maybe not, you know.
Some people call you the Canadian Double G.
I've heard that before. So nobody taught me how to throw, and I didn't think to look at YouTube and stuff, so I just threw it, felt comfortable, and that ended up being reaching under my arm instead of around my arm. So I guess that's how Garrett Girthy throws. And then for a while there, we kind of looked similar when we wear like Ray-Bans and stuff too. So I went to Minnesota, and that was the first time I heard it. It's like, oh, Garrett Girthy, you know, you see that, and then you see like sort of similar face shapes and kind of, you know, and then he's got like with tremendous power, and I have, you know, okay power, like not there, you know, but it makes sense, you know. It's a cool nickname. Yeah, it's not used as much as you'd think, but I've definitely heard it a lot. So 2016 was my rookie year, and I managed to win Rookie of the Year for that year. And I had played with Zach Melton, and so he's like, yeah, try and get on the team. And I was asking like, hey, like, would you like vouch for me? And so he vouched for me. And then I played with Oakley in early 2017 for Memorial. So I was like, could you vouch for me too? So then there's 2 guys vouching for me. And then I got an offer from Prodigy when I won Rookie of the Year. I was putting with judges at the time. And I heard a long time ago on a podcast or something, like, if you're about to be sponsored, follow your putter. I really wanted to be on DD. And so I told Jeremy, and I was like, yeah, I got the Rookie of the Year for 2016, and Prodigy's offering me, like, will you sponsor me? And he's just like, yep. I was like, perfect. So the end of 2019, I had a decent year, and 2020 was gonna be the year where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go fly to Texas. I'm gonna fly here, gonna, like, you know, go see all these places you see on film that you're like, I gotta go there, you know? And then COVID happened, and yeah, that didn't go so well. I guess it was devastating. Like, I was like, well, what else are we gonna do? I can't even leave Manitoba, you know? It felt like we were locked in, and I'm like, well, what are we gonna do? Like, there's nothing to do, you know? Let's have a beer. Let's have another beer. Like this, yeah, it wasn't fun, that's for sure. I probably gained 20 pounds since then, you know, so yeah, it wasn't nice. Players' parties were like, oh yeah, I could go to the player party and it doesn't matter because I'll still play okay or something. And then I found out over the last few years, you obviously shouldn't be doing that. Like, 1 or 2 is fine. That's what normal people do. But I'm like, who cares? Who cares? I'm just like, you know, trying to like, I don't know, compensate for not doing what I wanted to do. I'm just like, just, you know, I don't know. I played Worlds last year, 2022 Worlds in Emporia, and like prior to that I'd do well at those courses, but then I went there for Worlds and you get practice rounds in on 10,000 foot courses over and over and over again, and then you play the rounds and my arm was just finished, and I'm like, you know, it could be being out of shape, but it could also be like bad habits like that, right? For sure, I definitely lost out on some time there, and so maybe some tournament wins and stuff. Yeah. So last year in Manitoba, prior to last year, like I would usually win everything. I've probably won 2 or 3 provincials for sure. Not the last 2 though, so I'm coming this year. All these kids are coming up and it's just pushing everybody. So now we have 980s, 970s, 960s, and they all have such great potential. Like there's 17-year-old kids and 20-year-old kids that are throwing further than me, and like, oh, it's so awesome to see. And that pushes you too, because now I'm like, I can't have a beer in like the night before, because I need to be on my game to beat these kids, and so that pushes me. And then dynamic disc, I parted ways, so that was kind of like not I'll show you, but like it's just like, okay, you know, maybe turn something around and do better. So I was lucky enough to have Disc Republic sponsor me this year, so that's nice to have a name on your back supporting you, so I'm happy with that. I like people knowing that I'm a nice person, and I like when people are happy, and it's a nice feeling when somebody's appreciative of you and stuff like that, so yeah. Nice.
Put some disc on.
Woo! I keep saying yeah. Babe, when did I think of Sarancha?